I was watching the movie yesterday and I cried so much at the end. It was so touching.
Yeah.
But do you remember your very first meeting with Paul?
I remember we were at a table read, and I just remember this really like good-looking guy walking in. And what's so funny is that my first impression of him was so completely different from. It was so not a reflection of who he really was, you know, or what he really was like, because Paul was like, he just was, he had so many layers and he had so many interests and was so much more than just, you know, his beauty. But at first all I saw was his beauty walking in.
I met Paul well before we were doing Fast and Furious. I mean, it was out in an event, I think, or something like that. I remember meeting him then. First of all, he was a great-looking guy. Beautiful man, and I remember him being just so kind and cool and very. Over the years, I've become sensitive to energies and people, and energetically, and people, what people give me and what they don't. And with Paul, there was just an ease and no ego, and just it was lovely, and he remained that way, which was why we were able to become good buddies, and a wonderful guy. I miss him.
Do you remember your first meeting with Paul?
I do. I met Paul in LA. We actually had lunch when I stepped in, when I had the opportunity to step in for Too Fast, Too Furious. We bonded and connected immediately, and we could barely get Too Fast, Too Furious done because we was just cracking too many jokes and having too many parties, and it was just too much. And then we was young and making way too much money. All them women in Miami, it was just dangerous stuff, man. Jesus Christ. How you gonna put us out here and tell us to focus? Get the hell out of here.
My very first meeting with Paul, we were at a read-through, and we were at a read-through for the first Fast and Furious movie that went disastrous. And we were all, there must have been 50 of us at a stage on the Universal lot, and we were all reading the script, and when Paul would read a line that he didn't like, he'd say to the writer, I'm not sure about this line, and the writer would give some rebuttal, and then he would go, Vin, what do you think? And that was the beginning of our partnership. He always wanted to know what I thought of the lines and what I thought of, how the characters were playing out. And then that week we went to an illegal streetcar race, and helicopters came, and I was telling him, wow, in New York City we don't have helicopters. And he's like, oh, out here in California they're all over the place. And I remember we were running down the highway. Paul and I were running down the highway, and one of the consultants, the streetcar racing consultants, let us get in the back seat. So both Paul and I were in the back of this tuned up little Toyota. Very funny.
So you ran away in the car?
We ran away. We ran away from the scene.